The salvage vessel Meridian's Edge drifted through the debris field of what had once been the Zenthari colony ship Kethamar. Arthur checked his scanner again, frowning at the readings. 3 days of searching through twisted metal and frozen corridors, and they'd found nothing but corpses. Scarlet, you getting anything on your end? His voice crackled through the comm. Negative. Just more wreckage. Scarlet maneuvered her exosuit carefully between 2 collapsed bulkheads, her helmet lights cutting through the darkness. The Zenthari didn't believe in backup power systems. When the reactor went, everything went with it. She was about to suggest they move to the next sector when her motion sensor pinged. Something small. Something alive. Arthur, I've got movement. Section 7, Delta. On my way. Scarlet pushed through a torn airlock, her boots mag-locking to the deck as she entered what appeared to be living quarters. The temperature was near absolute zero, and frost covered every surface like crystalline lace. Her sensor pinged again, stronger now. There, in the corner, wrapped in what looked like thermal sheeting, was a Zenthari cub. Scarlet's breath caught. The Zenthari were extinct now, had been for 3 weeks, ever since the plague swept through their empire. This ship had been fleeing the outbreak, carrying refugees to the outer colonies. It hadn't made it. The cub couldn't have been more than 4 standard years old. Its fur was the deep purple of Zenthari royalty, and its 6 limbs were curled tight against its body. 4 golden eyes blinked up at her, pupils dilated with cold and fear. Arthur, I found a survivor. Zenthari cub. Prepare the medical bay. Scarlet, the regulations, I don't care about regulations. She moved forward slowly, hands visible, keeping her movements gentle. The Zenthari were predators, apex hunters on their homeworld, but they were also fiercely intelligent. Even the young ones understood intent. The cub watched her approach, trembling. Its translator collar flickered weakly, barely enough power to function. Without a word, Scarlet knelt down. She didn't reach for it, didn't try to grab it. She simply opened her thermal pack and pulled out an emergency blanket, spreading it on the deck beside her. Then she waited. The cub's eyes tracked her movements. Its small chest rose and fell rapidly, breath coming in quick gasps. Scarlet could see the frost forming on its whiskers. She reached into her pack again, pulling out a ration bar. Not much, but it was something. She broke off a piece and set it down between them. The cub stared at the food, then at her. Its ears, all 4 of them, swiveled forward. Scarlet stayed perfectly still. Seconds stretched into minutes. The cub's breathing slowed. Then, with movements so cautious they seemed painful, it uncurled 1 limb and reached for the ration bar. The moment it touched the food, Scarlet moved. Not toward the cub, but around it, wrapping the emergency blanket around both of them. The cub tensed, every muscle coiled to flee or fight, but Scarlet's arms formed a gentle cage, warm, protective, unbreakable. It's okay, she whispered, even though she knew it probably couldn't understand her tone through the translator. I've got you. Arthur burst through the airlock, his weapon drawn, his eyes scanning for threats. He froze when he saw Scarlet cradling the Zenthari cub against her chest, her suit's heating elements cranked to maximum. Scarlet, what are you doing? We have protocols, then break them. She looked up at him, and Arthur saw something in her eyes he'd never seen before, pure unyielding determination. This child is coming with us. The Zenthari are classified as hostile species. The Council will never... The Zenthari are extinct, Arthur, except for this one. She stood, holding the cub carefully. It had stopped trembling, its body pressed against the warmth of her suit. And I'm not leaving a child to die alone in the dark. Arthur lowered his weapon slowly. He'd served with Scarlet for 5 years, through salvage runs that would have broken lesser crews. He'd seen her face down pirates, negotiate with raiders, and once, memorably, punch a corrupt station master who'd tried to confiscate their cargo. But he'd never seen her look like this. The cub stirred in her arms. Its translator collar sparked once, twice, then steadied. When it spoke, its voice was small and crackling, but clear. Why? It was the simplest question in any language. Why save me? Why risk yourself? Why care? Scarlet looked down at the cub, at its 4 golden eyes wide with confusion and the first fragile stirrings of hope. She thought about all the reasons she could give, about galactic law, about the preservation of sentient species, about the moral obligation to protect the innocent. Instead, she said the only thing that mattered, because you're worth saving. The cub's ears flattened against its head, and it made a sound, something between a purr and a sob. its small arms wrapped around Scarlet's neck, clinging with desperate strength. Arthur watched for a moment longer, then nodded. "I'll prep the medical bay. And Scarlet?" He paused at the airlock. "The Council's going to crucify us for this." Scarlet adjusted her grip on the cub, feeling its rapid heartbeat against her chest. She thought about the bureaucrats who would demand they turn over the last Zenthari to research facilities, the xenophobes who would call for its destruction, the governments that would fight over custody of the only survivor of a dead civilization. She thought about all of it, and smiled. Let them try. As the Meridian's edge powered away from the wreckage, its course set for the nearest human colony, Scarlet sat in the medical bay watching the cub sleep. It had eaten, been warmed, been given medicine and care, and for the first time since they'd found it, it looked peaceful. Arthur brought her coffee, genuine earth-grown, and stood beside her. "What are you going to name it?" he asked quietly. Scarlet hadn't thought about it. Names were powerful things, especially for the Zenthari. They marked identity, belonging, future. "Hope," she said finally. "We'll call her Hope." The cub stirred at the sound, its eyes opening briefly. It looked at Scarlet, and for just a moment it smiled. A very human expression on a very alien face. And in that moment, the galaxy changed. Because humans, for all their faults, had one trait that set them apart from every other species. When they decided someone mattered, nothing in the universe could convince them otherwise. The Zenthari weren't extinct after all. They had humanity now.